but I ain't getting any higher.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for downloading the Voice of Bedlam podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Santoro. We got a great show planned for you guys today. We're actually checking in. Been a while with Sam. What's going on, Sam, over there in the UK? How you doing, man?
Good. It's good to be back. Not long till football season now, so I mean, there's lots to talk about. Been some new deals and stuff, but it's definitely good to be back, get back into things.
Yeah, it's good to hear from you. Let's hear from John.
It's been a long recovery to get my voice back.
Almost there.
Yeah, I'm almost there. I have a couple of phlegmy spots, but it's whatever. But I'm here, and not only that, I'm kind of questioning, what these Broncos were doing, and they almost lost their star player over there with this long holdout. With Mr.
Von Miller.
It's ridiculous.
Well, they got that. Didn't we talk about that on the last show?
Yeah, but it's just like it came to me again in a thought that I didn't mention on the show last time, but they almost Brock Osweilered him. They almost drove him out of town.
But we'll get into that and all the other deals that just went down before the deadline with the franchise tags. But before that, let's talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, BigLeagueShirts.com. If you want your team to compete with flair, then look no further than at BigLeagueShirts.com. They will help you push your team to the next level with high quality and personally customized by you jerseys. Now, you guys can go right on the website, customize them however you want. You can place your order right there at BigLeagueShirts.com, but if you call 913-909-9236 and say you heard about it on the Voice of Bedlam, you're going to save $50 off your first purchase. $50. And that number is 913-909-9236 for BigLeagueShirts.com. John, who else are we sponsored by?
We're also sponsored by Kiani. All right. Now, they are a health and wellness company that offers pioneering and life-changing results. Click the ad below and use the promo code PILLSNOMORE as your username. Okay, and see what Kiani can do for you. And do not forget to try maybe the, Nitro Extreme. Will help boost your energy, cardiovascular system, your heart. It's the most important thing, pumps the blood. So hit up Kiani, where wellness is simplified.
All right, let's get into today's daily breakdown. All right, first up, Foster, talking Arian Foster, moving down to Miami. Now, first of all, Sean Johnson did the article up at voiceofbedlam.com, went out about 9 o'clock this morning. Former Houston Texans running back Arian Foster has signed a one-year deal with Miami for $1.5 million. Now, the base salary of the deal is $1.1, and that comes with a $400,000 signing bonus, so that's going to be a $1.5 million cap hit for the Dolphins, picking up the former Houston Texan and former NFL rushing title. I forgot about that, him winning in 2010.
Yeah. That's because he was hurt for so long that it's hard to remember a season where he was successful.
Well, I mean, he only played in 4 games last year, and I mean, he was injured throughout the whole preseason. I remember they even did the HBO show, what's that called, Hard Knocks, and he was injured in the first. He was injured in the first episode, and he was gone. In 2014, he only played in 13 games. In 2013, only played in 8 games. Now, in 2012, he played all 16 games, and and he rushed for 1,400 yards. When he only played in 13 games in 2014, he also rushed for over 1,000 yards. But, I mean, you really can't trust him just because of the injuries. And he's pretty good out of the backfield, too. I mean, he's got back-to-back years with over 600 yards receiving. Now, that was earlier in his career and when he won the title. But, Sam, what's your make on Arian Foster? Is this really going to put the Dolphins over the edge with Jay Ajayi?
I think this is a deal a lot of people saw coming, and I think the main problem with Foster is, like you said, the injuries. In that last 7 years, he's only played a full 16 games twice, which is definitely a concern. But I think it was more just the fact that they don't trust Jay Ajayi to be the main man just yet until they've seen it in action as such, which is why they needed to bring a veteran like Forster in on a one-year deal.
Well, yeah, Jay Ajayi, 23 years old, and he was actually born in London, England, before going over to Boise State. But, he had 49 carries.
Blue field.
Oh, God, I hate that thing. But he had 49 carries as a rookie for only 187 yards, but he did average 3.8 a carry, which isn't that bad, and then one touchdown he had.
Yeah.
That offensive line isn't very kind to him or Tannehill.
No, but honestly, I have a question for you both then, and then I'll answer after you guys do. How many games does he survive in this one-year contract? Healthy.
That's a tough one. Sam, do you want to take it first?
That is tough. I think he might have a better season because he's had quite a while to recover and missed a lot of the off-season workouts. And it's different where now he's not going to be the main guy. He's going to be able to split a workload and take plays off. So I think he'll probably make it through at least most of the season, if not stay healthy for the whole season, because he can be rested when he needs those plays off.
All right, now I see, first of all, I think the Dolphins really messed up by letting Lamar Miller get away.
Oh, yeah.
Take it from a Giants fan. Giants did beat Miami December 14th, but Lamar Miller took it down the field on us twice, touchdowns in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And he was getting a couple out of the backfield, too. He had a couple multiple touchdown games. He was putting it together a little inconsistent, but I don't have faith in Adrian and Arian Foster. So, I would have felt, if I was a Miami fan, I would have been happier with Miller. That being said, I do think Foster will participate in at least 10 games.
In my opinion, what just happened between the Houston Texans and the Miami Dolphins was the Texans took the heart of that running back core in Miami, and Miami got their leftover trash in return. Because I think it's also kind of ironic.
Oh yeah, because Miller went to Houston. Yeah,
correct.
Yeah,
I think that's painfully ironic that they both land in opposite of where the big deals go down. But for them, it's just I don't see him going further than 6 games. I think he completes 6 games healthy, just based off of his track record. I would like to say that I'm trying to think about it in the aspect of it's not like he's leaving a completely different temperate zone. Like, hey, I used to have to play my games in Buffalo where it was brick cold, and now I'm going to Miami where it's sunshine and hurricanes.
It's humid in Houston as well.
So it's not like it's a big, huge change in environmental things and contributors to that are major contributors to your health, because think about getting hit in the cold versus getting hit on a hot day. It's still a hit, but that cold, brittle bone is going to hurt a lot more than that warm bone.
Well, for me, I never minded that part. I didn't want to be in the humidity. I would never be able to do anything physical in the state of Florida. I just can't. I'll fall over. That would be my problem. And you hear about that sometimes when you see a kid coming out of like Michigan or Ohio State or something like that, and they end up on the Dolphins. They're like, got to get used to this heat. I think that's what Miles Jack was saying, wasn't it? Wasn't somebody out of UCLA saying something like that? But I don't know. We'll just keep things moving with today's daily breakdown, but we'll stick with signings, talking NFL. Mohammed Wilkerson, a deal a lot of people didn't think was going to get done, got done right before the deadline. You can read all about it up at voiceofbedlam.com in my article titled Mohammed Wilkerson signs a deal at the deadline. Now, he signed a 5-year, $86 million deal to keep him with Mean Green through 2020, through the season of 2020. Wilkerson's contract shakes out with a base salary of $7 million this year, and with a $3 million signing bonus. But in In 20, that's going to give the Jets a $10 million cap hit. So against the cap, it's going to be $10 million this year, but then it really balloons up. In 2017, he's going to make $18 million, and in 2018, he's going to make $20 million. Last 2 years of the deal, making $19 million apiece. Jets really got to have their fingers crossed. Well, everybody knows it's going up, that the cap is going to expand, because I think they're spending money before they're even allowed to use it, because this is a big number for a defensive tackle, getting more than J.J. Watt. What do you guys think about Mo Wilkes? John, what do you think? Or Sam? Go ahead, Sam.
Sam, yeah.
Yeah, this is when I was interested, because there was a lot of people, Tampa fans, saying that we should trade for him, and there was a bit of debate about that, and I was on the side that I thought we shouldn't, purely because I didn't think he was going to be worth the kind of contract money we would have to give him. But I think...
Then what is he worth to you?
Well, it's another one of those contracts where it seems like they overpaid for
Absolutely.
me.
But they overpaid to keep talent in that area, because if not, they were going to be completely bum squad. So they had to, sometimes you have to go a little bit deeper in your pockets to get something that you need to solidify a foundation with. And when you got a player like Muhammad Wilkerson, who is a monster at his position, you need to lock that down in order to draw in the other talent that is needed to subsidize his talent.
Now, go ahead, Sam.
They have Leonard Williams, who I think is going to really probably push on over the next few years as one of those standout players that's going to turn into a star. And maybe in a couple of years' time, when they're paying $20 million a year to Wilkerson, they're going to regret this deal when they want to try and lock up Leonard Williams, who was regarded as the best player in the 2015 draft.
That just means they have to be a lot more craftier, and
they have to be more fiscally responsible.
And fiscally responsible by being more on top of their recruiting from college. They need to start being smarter with their draft picks. You know what I mean? Fill those holes then, because these rookie contracts, especially with that 5th-year option, most times you're making out, and if you get a banger, like Mr. Wilkerson here, you know what I mean? You get him locked down for 5 years for a pretty low price.
No, this isn't low. This would have been
but now he's at. But I'm saying
coming into the league.
Coming into the league, these guys need to, if they're worried about this big contract because they have to eat it up over the next few years, that just means they have to be smarter with who they draft. If you're missing holes, you need to address those holes. But not only that, you need to do your homework on those people and make sure that they can fill and be able to show up and play, because now we're getting into the point where drafting your first and second rounders, and if they're not playing, you're looked as a failure of your managing of talent. Yeah, and you can easily lose your job.
See, now, John, I agree completely with what you were saying, that they need to hit in the draft and that'll make this deal maybe be okay. I agree with what you're saying there. At the same time, if I was a Jets fan, I would want to keep Mo Wilkes. That is a little high. I mean, we're talking more than J.J. Watt money. At the same time, though, I'm not talking crap on Muhammad Wilkerson. He's a great player. I mean, he's playing in the middle. And, I mean, he led the team with 12 sacks last year. Pro Football Focus has got him rated as an 88.2, which is the highest person on the Jets roster, period.
So there you go. So
the next highest person, the next highest paid person would be, highest rated person would be Sheldon Richardson, who plays on the outside of him, but has all those off the field problems. And him playing from the defensive end spot, which is usually where you'd get the sacks, he's only got 5, and he's got the off the field problems. But I mean, plus Leonard Williams, they got a mean front seven. They really do, but it's
the mean green now.
It's just kind of high price. But you guys can read more about that up at voiceofbedlam.com. Do you guys got anything else on Muhammad Wilkerson?
Well, I was going to say, going back to the drafting of Leonard Williams, there is, I think part of it was number 6. They just couldn't turn up. They couldn't turn down the opportunity to have such a talented player, and I think that's I think that's part of why they've probably tried to keep Mohamed Wilkerson. Is now they've got that dominant front line that they want to build off, and probably similar to how we saw the Broncos build a dominant front seven. That's probably what they're going to aim to do in the next few years. So I mean, it comes down to that. That old question: what's more important? Do you draft the need, or do you draft the best talent available?
It's just like when you buy a house, right? Like, let's say you buy an old house, right? There's stuff in the house everywhere that just has to get done, right? Everybody wants everything done, right? They want their house to be complete. But what they also forget is that you need to focus on one room at a time to build something great. It's going to take time. They're building there, and it's going to give them the opportunity to give them, be like, okay, we're done with that room now. Now we can move on to this room. I think they're doing it right, and I applaud them over there for making that move, locking down somebody like that. That's going to make talented players feel comfortable, feel honored to go work with him. You know what I'm saying? Especially, with the exposure of how NFL has branched out all over the place. You're a public figure once you hit the league. So he's a good...
he's dealt with it a lot better than Richardson has.
Correct. And, I just hope that, that for the Jets fans' sake, that this isn't one of those Albert Hainsworth situations where he gets paid a lot of money and doesn't produce.
The Jets fans, that's like blasphemy right there, man.
I'm just, I know I said it, but maybe saying it, addresses it enough that people just keep a watchful eye for that, because hopefully that money goes to production.
You take that gamble every single time.
Most definitely.
In free agency, but let's stick with the Jets a little bit more. Now, another reason why it makes sense that they're shoring up a guy like Mo Wilkes. Who is their quarterback? I'm watching NFL Network today. We're really talking about Geno Smith. Not that Fitzpatrick is like some Hall of Famer, but I'm sorry. I'm going to go against what I was saying earlier in the year. If they don't get Fitzpatrick, I have no hope for this Jets team. I'm sorry.
You jumping on my bandwagon now?
Well, no. If they get Fitzpatrick and they got Brandon Marshall, Decker, but if it's Geno Smith at quarterback, they don't even got to get Fitzpatrick. But if it's Geno Smith at quarterback, I have no faith in the Jets. I'm sorry. Sam, what do you think about the Jets with Geno?
I was going to ask you guys, would it be Hackenberg or Smith? Because obviously I think it's going to be Geno Smith to start the season. But
once he throws his fourth pick, then Hackenberg's going in.
Yeah,
Hackenberg in week 1. But if you guys it's an older post, but I did Who Will Step Under Center for the Jets a couple months ago, right after the draft. And that's basically what I said. I said if they don't get Fitzpatrick, it's going to be Geno, and I gave him till week 6. I think, what's his name? What's the Jets coach name?
Todd Bowles.
Yeah, Bowles from Arizona. I think he's going to give him a fair amount of time at 6, and really should have looked up where the Jets' bye week is, but he's eventually going to get pulled. Hackenberg's going to go in. Hackenberg was the second round
in front of you, bro.
He was the second round.
Got
right?
a lot of potential. As someone who's watched him in college, he had all the tools, and a few years back people thought he would be the number 1 overall pick in this draft, but that Penn State team let him down a lot, and he had effectively no offensive line and no receivers to work with, but he's got all the tools there to develop in the NFL with the right coaching. So I think maybe that he ends up taking over for Smith, and I think it's probably too soon for him, but I think he could have some success in that team. Well,
now with Tom Brady being out those first 4 games, is it gonna be enough for the Jets to possibly squeeze into a division leader position, or who's going to take down the defending champions?
Well, I have an answer for this, and it's It's only if if Geno's quarterback. It's only if Geno's quarterback. But I can't answer it because it comes up in my 4-minute hut little teaser. So, Sam, what do you think about Brady missing these first 4 games? Now, Jimmy Garoppolo, he does have a couple of weapons. I mean, any young, inexperienced quarterback is always going to target a tight end, running an easy seam route, big target, and he's got one of the best that's ever lived. How do you think Garoppolo will fare over these first 4 weeks of the season?
Well, I think Garoppolo's going to do a lot better than expected. I think with the whole Deflategate situation with Brady, it's been kind of brushed under the carpet what Garoppolo kind of was when he came out of college. He went at the back end of the second round for a reason. And I mean, he was hurt by the fact that he played at a small school in Eastern Illinois, but he had some tools that NFL teams could see when he came out in the draft. I mean, he's got a brilliant release and just a great sense of a pro offense, and sitting in that pocket and finding the throw, waiting for the receiver to get open downfield, which I'm not too sure how he's going to fit into the Patriots kind of dink and dunk style offense where they throw for 5 yards at a time. But I think that Garoppolo could easily lead this team to 3-1 or 4-0 in these first 4 games with the talent around him.
Wow, you really think they can go 4-0 without Brady, huh?
I think probably more like 3-1, but I could see it being possible with that talented Patriots team. I mean, the game plan's going to be there. The game plan's going to be almost perfect, if not perfect. And Garoppolo, people forget he's had 2 years watching Tom Brady day in, day out, from morning to evening, watching this guy, learning from Brady and Belichick. I mean, that's what was already a talented player who was a second-round draft pick with a lot of tools to use, and now he's had 2 years working with arguably one of the best coaches of all time and one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So he's definitely gonna perform quite well, I think.
Yeah. Now, who do they open up with this year? Is it the Cardinals, September 11th, 8:30?
Yeah, looks like it is. Yeah, that's a pretty good game. I don't know. The Cardinals are pretty tough, and David Johnson's gonna get a chance to, possibly take the reins of NFL rushing leader.
So let's look at this. Now, we got Cardinals in week 1 at the night game opener, right? And then we got Dolphins week 2, Houston Texans week 3, and the Bills in week 4. So they got 2 divisional matchups, which are always tricky. We just spent a fair amount of time talking about the Dolphins, Adam Gase down there. How you really think, if they go 3-1, who do you see them losing to, Sam? Cardinals, Dolphins, Texans, or Bills?
Probably the Cardinals, because that is a tough game. That's just such a talented team, and they'd be tricky on the back end with that secondary with Patrick Peterson and Tyrann Mathieu. They're going to struggle to throw against that. But I mean, I think they're better than the Texans, and although the divisional matchups are always tricky, they're just better than the Dolphins and the Bills, and I think I could see them winning those 3 games.
Worst case scenario?
Probably 2-2.
That's what I see as worst case.
Best case scenario?
3-1, maybe 4-0.
Do you see him going all 4 though?
Oh no, I don't. I think they will definitely lose to the Cardinals week 1. I bet you Garoppolo wouldn't be terrible.
So what's your best case scenario for that?
Well, my best case scenario is start out 0-1, then go 3-0. I think at worst they might lose to the Texans and start off 2-2, going loss win. Brady be back for the Brown game, and they will destroy them.
I guess I'm gonna jump in now, and I see them in best case scenario starting off the season 1-3, and in worst case scenario starting off 0-4.
All right, so who they winning in a 1-3 scenario?
And the Dolphins. the Texans just revamped their entire offense. Their defense is still good. It just has that huge question mark of whether or not Jadeveon Clowney is going to show up and be the monster that he was coming out of college. And the Buffalo Bills are no joke. They got targets, and it really doesn't matter who's throwing the ball. It's better for their production if Tyrod Taylor is the one that's throwing the ball. But they got Sammy Watkins, and he's a monster as long as he stays healthy.
When was the last time that a Belichick team went 1-3 to start a season?
I know. I remember. Even with Matt Castle, they had 11 wins. They didn't make the playoffs that year, but they had 11 wins.
Exactly. So
they find a way to win. They find a way to game plan for the team's weaknesses and use what they have to find a way round whatever deficiencies they have or whatever weaknesses they have, and they find a way to win because of good coaching and good game planning.
Okay, now obviously we're speaking extremely hypothetically here, but say they do start off 0-4. What is your percentage that they make the playoffs?
None.
How about you, Sam? Tom Brady comes back to a team 0-4. Does he
hypothetically?
I'd have to say at least 10 or 15%.
I mean, Sam's right.
Because Brady angry or pissed off coming back from that suspension and wanting to prove a point. He could probably go 11-5.
Yeah, but they're not going to go 0-4. They're not. So, but yeah, I bet I would have to give them somewhat of a chance. I don't see it at all. Them going 0-4.
I can see it. The only thing that the big question mark of them getting that one win, and that's the Dolphins. I don't think that they're not going to be able to just run through the Texans. That's not going to happen.
I agree with you there. But I think they can take down the Bills.
Arizona is going to run all over them. And not only that,
and throw. They got Michael Floyd and
John Brown.
Yeah, John Brown.
Yep. An aging but
Larry
still productive Larry Fitzgerald. They can move the ball. Shout out to our buddies down there at the Fantasy Footballers podcast who are Cardinals fans.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're Cardinals fans.
All of them, or just Mike, who was on last week?
I believe it was all of them because it is like there's like jersey hanging up. I only caught like 1 or 2 episodes. I'm sorry, guys. I'll try to catch up. But I got so many podcasts I listen to, like Joe Rogan and stuff like that.
That's such like an underhanded plug. You just
I know, but no, I'm just trying to get people to expand their minds a little bit from the meathead, and all of us, because we're all a little bit meatheaded if we watch football.
I don't know, but check out the Fantasy Footballers on a platform near you. But
and
with
if
that,
you didn't hear that episode, he came on. Mike from the show came on. So go back and listen to that stuff now.
That's the 50th show, and I actually talked to Tyler from the Fantasy Footballers. He's probably going to come on somewhere down the road, maybe awesome. when fantasy playoff time's coming, he might come join us. But speaking of fantasy, let's talk about Bedlam's Fantasy.
Oh yeah.
All right. We have
we got a prize.
We have an official sponsor of DraftKit.com for Bedlam's Fantasy, our Voice of Bedlam league that's going on. You guys can still sign up until August 1st at just email staff at voiceofbedlam.com. We'll be competing for this little guy right here, the ultimate fantasy football trophy provided to us by DraftKit. Go to DraftKit for all your DraftKit needs. We're talking the boards, we're talking labels, we're talking trophies, everything you guys need. Go to DraftKit.com.
Look how beautiful it is. Like, why wouldn't you want to take your fantasy football league to the next level?
I'm telling you where this is going to go at the end of the year, though. This is going to go on my mantle next to my autographed LT helmet, next to my autographed Harry Carson's helmet, and a couple other things I got up there. It's going to go right up there because I'm going to be taking home the league.
I know that you're used to working with amateur fantasy football people that don't know what they're doing, but where this trophy is going to be is right where you see it on the show. But you know what? I might have to make a little bit of an alteration, to the helmet. Put like some spikes for like a Liberty spike mohawk or something, because it's going to be mine, and I want everybody to see that it's mine, and I want my name to be somewhere like right here, right there. Yep.
Devil John and the Devilettes or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something a little more creative, before the season starts, because that's when I really unveil like everything. Right now, I'm trying to think of the one that I'm doing for my other league, which is. It's quite a bit of money to get into.
Now, Sam, you're involved in the Bedlam League, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what do you think? You ever been in a predominantly American league before, or are you used to playing with them chaps over there in the UK?
I think it'll be interesting. It'll be different. I'm probably more used to playing with people over here in the UK that seem to watch American football and have an idea of who the key players are, but as far as the strategy for fantasy football, I'm not so sure that they're quite as clued in as you lot. So it should be tough, but it'll make the winning more enjoyable. So
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that you're the most like pure football educated person on this show, to be honest. He definitely sounds the most intelligent.
It's the accent, and he does his homework very well. Which he just got some good honors in his academia. So he's legit, guys.
What do you mean? You gotta say it. I don't even know.
I'm gonna let him tell it.
What's John talking about, Sam?
Well, I've recently got my college grades, and I think I was more than satisfied with mainly A's, and B, so I was quite happy.
There you go.
See, so
now you just graduated, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank
Doing
you.
big things, working with the voice of Bedlam now. I mean, you're really coming up in the world. Well, you can tell everybody how you work in America. I mean, you'll sound, I don't know, that's probably bad.
It's bad.
All right, maybe don't tell people that. But let's get things moving here. Back to the daily breakdown, and let's talk about
some hoops.
We'll make it the article spotlight. Phil Jackson wants change. Now, you guys can read this article up at the Voice of Bedlam. Well, not the Voice of Bedlam. Up at voiceofbedlam.com. I threw it up there yesterday. Go give it a look. So basically, in an interview with Charlie Rosen of today's Fast Break, New York Knicks president Phil Jackson talked about how he would like to extend the shot clock by 4 seconds and implement a 4-point scoring line. According to Jackson, this would help eliminate the blowout. Phil is proposing that the 4-foot line be about 35 feet out. Now, basically, the key in basketball, you got a 6-foot arc above the free throw line, and that's where the 3-point line is at 22 feet.
Yeah, but my question,
to the center of the rim.
How does he expect a 4-pointer to be shot from the side? It's already like you almost have to stand sideways to shoot from the side with an NBA 3. The out of bounds line on a court is only so big. You'll be talking about stepping out of bounds in order to make a 4-point shot.
That's very true. I hadn't thought about that part, but basically the way it would shake out, I don't know about the side, but the 3-point arc's at 22 feet. So now if they went out to 35 feet, that's pretty much right in between the 3-point top of the arc and half court, which comes in at 47 feet. So the half court line's at 47 feet. If they put a 4-point line at 35, that's about midway, you know what I mean?
See,
between the two.
I'm truly left-handed, so I can't do the math in my head, but I'm picturing it though, and I just don't see how that works unless they
the arc shape of it. You're saying,
and not only that, you're talking to them. If he's proposing that, then he's talking about every team in the league has to now redo their parquet.
Well, I don't know. They'd have to figure it out. I didn't read anything about the sides, to be honest. He just said, I mean, it's not an official proposal yet. He's just saying they'd have to think it out, but he would like it like that. He thinks it'll eliminate, well, basically, he's less saying it wouldn't be long before the players would get reasonably comfortable shooting from out there, and having a 4-point line would certainly serve to enable teams to catch up in what are now blowout games. Now, I kind of disagree with this, because what I think is if there is a 4-point line, regardless of how it's set up, if you're down by a lot, teams are going to start chucking it up from the 4-point line, which will be a low percentage shot, and then the team that's in the league is going to be winning off the glass, with the other team just chucking it up for fours, get it down the court real quick, and go up even further. That's what I think might happen. What do you guys think about if they were to implement a 4-point line?
How about you, Sam?
Well, I was going to say, I don't understand how this would stop Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors, for example, having blowout wins. If Steph can then go and shoot a 4-pointer. Half the 3-pointers
That's kind of what I'm saying.
On that range anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why don't you know what I say? There is a 4-point line. It's called making your 3-point shot and getting fouled and going to the foul line and shooting your free throw. All right, so Phil Jackson, it's a good idea. Whatever medication that they got you on these days, it's got you being quite imaginative. But keep that stuff to yourself.
Now, even though
I don't see it working, and not only that, you're talking about a bunch of owners that just got a big payday, from their media,
the TV contracts.
Deal. Yeah, so they don't want to spend it right on the floor to accommodate for different changes to no. And not only that, speaking of the everybody, like, I don't know about you guys, but I ball a little bit, and everybody these days, especially these young kids coming in, the high school, coming out of high school age, they're all treating themselves like they're Steph Curry. They all, like, you're 6'4" and you're out in the shooting behind the 3 line every time. You are 6'4", use your body, sir. But these kids are out there thinking that they're Steph Curry. So the blowouts are going to happen. It's what happens when you got a good general manager and knows how to acquire the talent that's needed to win games. I'm sorry. Does everybody hate on the Yankees for killing it in baseball?
Yeah,
for so many years?
Everybody does hate on the Yankees.
Or should you just congratulate them for being a successful franchise?
No, everybody hates on them, and everybody hates on the Patriots. Everybody's jelly. But also, okay, so none of us really agree with a 4-point line, but I'm not really opposed to 4 seconds being extended to the shot clock, because I think if you do that, it's going to increase ball movement. It's going to encourage teams to be a little bit more schooled up on the defense, and I think it'll bring back an endangered species in the big man having a little bit more time to get the ball down in the paint or the low post.
No, that big man needs to move, especially if you're going to go up against East Coast
You were just
teams.
talking about people who are 6'4" wanting to shoot like Steph Curry, so now we're talking about guys that are 6'9", and you don't think they should be playing in the paint. You got to make up your mind.
No, they got to play all-around ball. You have to be a ball player. You have to use your size. If you're a 6'4" man, yeah, you're going to be playing the 3, the 4, the 5 sometimes. If you're 7 foot tall, guess what? You're not going to be a 3. You're not going to be a 4.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm
saying.
saying.
A 5.
Absolutely, and that guy is a dying breed. If they extend the shot clock by 4 seconds, it's going to have a little bit more time to feed it down to that 7 foot tall center to put it up in there.
But if it's taking that big man so much time to get down the court, then they already have a fast break where there's a 2-on-1 situation.
No, but it's not that it takes the big man a long time to get down court, just with the ball movement, especially with a guy like Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson winning the championship with the Knicks in 70 and 73. Then winning a bunch of them with Michael Jordan as a coach with the Bulls. And
he has a lot of
but I mean, he's an old school ball movement, team, triangle type of guy, so I can see why he would pitch it. Sam, what do you think about the shot clock if they were to extend it by 4 seconds?
I think you're right, it might increase the ball movement, but I can see your theory on how it might bring back the big man, but I think the problem is then you'd have like John was trying to say, you'd have the other team can fast break back down the court when they get the ball back, because the big man's kind of being pushed out because you need speed and you need people that can do multiple things. I think extending the shot clock would probably help with higher scoring and higher shot percentage, which might make it more entertaining because teams would have that more time to get the better shots and probably wouldn't rush taking a bad shot quite so often. So I could see it could be a positive in that way, that it might increase the scoring.
All right, yeah, everybody seems to like increase scoring. Everybody wants more offense because of fantasy. I'm not really like that. I like my defense, but everybody in general seems to want more offense,
when it comes
more
to basketball
fantasy.
these days, there's not much defense going on.
Period. Go ask Carmelo Anthony about that. How about that, Phil Jackson?
Yeah, like if anything, instead of trying to promote all these, advanced scoring techniques, why don't you teach your players how to play some defense? Man up.
Well, he's not as involved with the team anymore. He's taken more of an executive role than when he first came back with the Knicks.
I don't care. He needs to pass that along and be like, hey, why don't you teach these guys how to play some defense, and maybe you'll stop being scrubs. You sent somebody.
He did just pick up Noah talking about centers.
But he came from a scrub squad. What are you talking
that's
about?
A division rival. Noah, Derrick Rose, the Bulls had a nice little team a couple years ago. Noah was a big part of that.
The Philadelphia Sixers are scrubs, and they were always scrubs. And not only that, the last time they were relevant, they did the man dirty. It was with Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson took them to a finals, okay, and won Game 2 single-handedly.
But why are you talking about the 76ers?
Because they're atrocious. Because that's where Noah came. Oh,
no, Noah came from the Bulls. That's what I'm saying.
But
yeah.
I'm thinking of.
That's why I'm like, what are you talking about?
I'm thinking of the Noel.
Oh, no. I'm talking about Joakim Noah, center for the Bulls. That's what I'm talking about. Going over to the Knicks, free agency,
Bulls
big
were bullshit
contract.
anyway, because Jalen Rose barely.
Bullshit.
Oh well. Guess what? I guess I gotta bleep something out later. But no, they were bull crap anyway. Exactly. No pun, absolutely intended. And Jalen Rose is gonna have a hard time because now he's in New York and he's gonna get hurt again.
You mean Derrick Rose?
Whatever.
Let's get out of the NBA. I don't know.
No,
you guys.
They were all bums, and not only that, the Knicks will still be the laughing joke of the league. That's what they've been. That's why.
I guess. Yeah, you might be right about that.
I might be right. No, I watch. What are you talking about? I watch more basketball than everybody here.
Maybe.
But then I'm just mad because
you don't know much about the Chicago Bulls right now.
Chicago
that's for
Bills?
Sure.
Yeah. All right, there, buddy. Yeah, the Bulls and the Bills.
All right, but let's get back over to the gridiron and talk about some NCAA. I am really, really upset about this. Now, according to Mike Cherry, there's been reports that the NCAA and AFCA have had informal discussions about eliminating the kickoff in college football. So the Division I Oversight Committee and the American Football Coaches Association have reportedly discussed eliminating kickoffs from college football completely. And now this is coming from a Monday report of Dennis Dodd with CBSSports.com. The two bodies had informal talks and are finding alternatives for kickoff. Although they will likely not if they do decide on anything, it's not going to be implemented until at least the 2018 season. Now, according to Dodd, the Big 12 commissioner of the Oversight Committee, Chairman Bob Bolowski, believes kickoffs put players at risk more than anything else in the sport of football. He's quoted as saying, "I don't think there's any doubt this is the most dangerous play in the game. How much that's the case and how it can be fixed is unknown." So they're not really sure the exact numbers. It's all preliminary testing and data that they're collecting, but it just seems like a lot more injuries happen on the kickoff, so they're thinking about getting rid of it completely. I think it's a travesty.
Honestly, get a kicker that can kick it into the end zone, then, you idiot.
Well, they did that when they moved up the line. That's what they were trying to do.
Get a good kicker, and you don't have to worry about your players getting banged up.
It's so boring. Like, I think, now, if you want to play football, you're assuming the risk. Everybody's out there getting. at a chance to get hurt at any moment. A lot of the players have that opinion. Not all of them. Stop trying to ruin football. Don't give me that. Just stop trying to ruin football. Everybody knows about CTE and the dangers of concussions now. And if you still want to play football, you can still play football.
But honestly,
people skydive. People snowboard off mountains. If you know what the risk is and you take that risk, you take that risk.
All right, but honestly, and I'm going to get him on the podcast because I was just talking to him about it. My brother, he coaches Pee Wee football. He's only got 17 kids confirmed for this season. The CTE,
yeah, soccer moms don't want to let their kids play football no more.
Exactly.
I'm not a soccer mom. I don't really care.
I understand that, but there's a lot of soccer moms out there that are not allowing their kids to play football.
Well, you got people like Troy Aikman coming out on NFL broadcast saying he would never let his kid play football.
But did you ever think there'd be a day that Easton football, that kids weren't fighting to be on that squad?
No, I mean, Easton football, I'm not a high school football guy at all, but it is a very historic...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what's even more historic is their game planning via Shifford. I'm not
running up the middle. Third and 17, running up the middle.
Yeah, it's 4th and 17. Looks like we're gonna run it up the middle
from your own 30.
Yep. We're almost we're on the 2-yard line with our backs against the end zone. Running up the middle.
All right, let's get out of Easton Red Rover football. And so, Sam, what do you think about the talk? I mean, it's inevitably going to happen that one day kickoffs will be eliminated. But what do you think about college making the first real strides towards that?
I mean, I don't want to see kickoffs go from the game because some of the most exciting moments come on kickoffs and last-second kickoffs, like the Duke-Miami game last year with the 8 or 9 laterals when the clock ran out and they took it back for a touchdown. Yeah. That kind of drama would be gone. Could you imagine them scoring a touchdown with, what was it, like 6 or 7 seconds left, and then there's no kickoff, and they just start.
And what about the onside kick? What about the onside kick? If you needed the onside kick, what's going to happen then?
Well, exactly. I mean, there's so much drama and kind of great moments over the years that have happened on a kickoff that I think it would be sad to see them go from the game, and I think there should be another way around this. Like people say, like you said, like football is dangerous, and they know that being out there, and I think with safer tackling rules and better coaching on how to tackle correctly and safely, that
what else is dangerous?
Necessary.
Guys, you know what else is dangerous?
What's that?
Fireworks. And we all mess with them. So why can't we, but we do it with safety and precaution. So using the information that we have, why can't we just, stop being a bunch of idiots and just be like, hey, look, if you're seen leading with your head and you hit somebody in the head, you're ejected from the game.
Well, that would be very strict, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they are doing the Steve Gleason NFL documentary tonight.
And then
that's the dude who got paralyzed.
Do a 2 or 3 strike rule where if you have 3 incidences where you've led with a helmet, you can't play football in college no more.
All right, well, they are talking about other things. I mean, they're talking about possibly just changing the blocking schemes that are allowed, just modifying the play in some way.
Lower your shoulder, wrap them up.
They're hoping to not eliminate the play, but it seems like it's probably going to happen. It's not just the hits. They don't like the fact that people are running full speed. So let's think about it. Now they've moved it closer, so it's easier to kick it out the back. Then on top of that, they're not allowed to take that long 10-yard, 15-yard, whatever it was, running start anymore. They're nervous about people running all the way down, full speed, in a collision. A lot of things, there's talking, with no more wedges and stuff like that. People are getting cracked too hard. I don't like it, but it's obvious that that's where the game's going. I mean, look how much they baby the quarterback.
Yeah, Sam, I got a quick question for you. Have you ever seen the movie Little Giants?
No.
All right. Well, that's got to be on a must-watch list.
It's a movie for an 8-year-old. By the way, like it's a childhood movie.
Dude, it is awesome. Don't kid yourself. All right.
It's about like 2 pop-warning football
honestly,
teams.
because I'm gonna make a reference to that movie right now. If it seems like
Spike don't play with girls.
Spike don't play with girls. Spike want the ball. No, but what I'm saying is the one kid, he showed up to practice, all right, with his mom's amended pads. Okay, now what he had was like mattress toppers, taped to him, and then he looked like the Michelin man coming onto the field, and he had the waddle, kind of like how from A Christmas Story.
Yeah, I was just thinking that when he came, I can't put my arms down. I hate that movie though.
I think I've seen a picture of that before. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I think that's where they are almost going with this. This is ridiculous. I understand that is a dangerous sport, but you know what else is also dangerous? A sport that I played called lacrosse, but there's still tons of Ivy League kids that are going out there playing that, and their mom and dads are not, even batting an eye, because you're talking about open field hockey rules, basically. If you're within that ball, I was checking you.
All right, okay. Well, let's take a break here and tell you guys about DirecTV. Now, if you guys call 855-668-9061, a DirecTV associate will get you set up with a free installation today. Make sure you take care of that early bird special NFL Sunday ticket max. No matter where you're living, get every single out-of-market game. So make sure you guys hit up DirecTV at 855-668-9061.
That Andrew Siciliano Red Zone channel is optimal. If you are watching the Red Zone channel and it's not Andrew Siciliano, guess what? It's not the Red Zone channel, and you need to call DirecTV today.
All right, now, guys, we're up at about 50 minutes. So let's real quick run through this last story about Brock Lesnar kind of testing hot, it seems like, and then we'll get into today's 4-minute hut. Now, the UFC announced Friday that Brock Lesnar has been flagged by the United States Anti-Doping Agency for a potential doping violation. The USADA has informed Lesnar of a potential anti-doping violation stemming from an out-of-competition sample collected on June 28, 2016, according to Alec Nathan of Bleacher Report. The USDA is an independent administrator of the UFC's anti-doping policy. It is important to note that under UFC anti-doping policy, there is a full, fair legal review that afford all the athletes everything they need before a sanction is imposed. Now, the Nevada State Athletic Commissioner is going to retain jurisdiction over the matter because the sample was collected so close to his Las Vegas bout that he won UFC 200. So, he took on Mark Super Samoan Hunt, and he's got some things to say about this. He was asked, basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, what he thought about it, and so basically what would commonly happen here is Lesnar would be fined 50 to 75% of his bout check of the money he made that night. Purse. And but basically the Samoan said, I can't quote him, he cursed a lot, but he said he doesn't really give a crap. He goes, they're not the ones that were in there fighting with a cheater, and they're not the ones that lost to a cheater. And he really does got a point. He is the real victim here. Do you know what I mean? But of course, Lesnar and his people are denying it, quoted as saying, we'll get to the bottom of this, that they put out in an announcement per the Associated Press.
And honestly, I know for a fact within my own, I guess you could say my own intuition about things, Brock Lesnar did cheat because, let's just put it this way, homie, it's not a choreographed dancing match with men in tights anymore, all right? You're going up against real dudes again. Remember when Kane knocked you out? Yeah, you had to go to a decision because you ain't ready for the big boys. Mark Hunt handed you yourself, and quite honestly, Brock was giving it in too, but
it was unanimous decision. But they went the whole.
He was juiced up. If he wasn't juiced up, Mark Hunt would have had that fight most definitely.
Now it seems like he tested positive for estrogen blockers, which is basically used to reboost up your testosterone.
Yeah, you got to restart your testosterone system
after doing a cycle.
You start doing cycle of steroids, Mr. WWE.
I wonder if you got him from Vince McMahon.
I don't want to get involved with that too much, but it is. You can speculate where he gets it from, but honestly, you don't get that big from honest workouts.
All right, now basically, if you want to see any of these UFC bouts in person, make sure you hit up Ticket Software LLC.
Did you say his eye?
866? Yes, I did. 853-3454. That's 866-853-3454. Call Ticket Software LLC today. They will get you the best deal on tickets all over the globe. 84,000 events worldwide with some of the best security for your card and 125% money back guarantee. That's Ticket Software LLC at 866-853-3454.
Yeah, maybe you can get a ticket to go see CM Punk's first fight now that he's been medically cleared to fight.
I don't really want to talk WWF, my man.
No, it's he switched over to the UFC now too, but he's just been hurt because he had to get his back fixed because he had a bulged disc. But so make sure you hit up Ticket Software LLC at 866-853-3454 because you can catch that live.
All right, so let's kick things off. I think we're going to have a fun one with today's
4-minute hut.
Or what?
4-minute hut.
Okay, all right. Now, 4-minute hut coming at you courtesy of the mind of young Samuel over there in the UK. We're each going to give you 3 things that we know will happen in 2016's NFL season. So 3 things we know. I'll take it off first. Now, the first one on my list is the one I'm most unsure with, but I'm going to rattle off all 3, and we'll discuss them briefly and get to you guys. So first up, Zeke Elliott will rush for less than 1,000 yards in his rookie campaign with the Dallas Cowboys. Thing number 2, this was getting back to when we were talking about Brady and the Jets and the whole AFC East. I know Rex Ryan and Rob Ryan will lead the Buffalo Bills to the playoffs this year. It may be via wild card, but there will be January football for Buffalo. Number 3, Andy Dalton will get his first playoff win with the Cincinnati Bengals.
In an alternate universe.
All right, so what do you guys think about my 3? We got to kind of be quick with this.
Sam?
Well, I think I think that your one for Zeke is possible with the split carries that they might see in that backfield, that he could have just under 1,000 and then maybe 700 or 600 for the other 2 there. But
combined,
I mean, I'd say probably still unlikely, or more likely that he does go for over 1,000 because, I mean, he was drafted with the number 4 overall pick for a reason. And I think I could see the Bills making the playoffs. I don't think they're going to win the division, but you could definitely see them getting a wild card. And I think Dalton and his first playoff win has just kind of been coming, and I think he would have had it last year.
Yeah,
if it wasn't for the injury.
It's just bound to happen.
Yeah, that's too good a team. It's a very talented team for them, so I think he'll get that.
All right, see, now going back to Zeke, I mean, he is playing behind that great offensive line, but there's 2 other backs getting the ball in there. One of them being Alfred Morris. I do think he's on the downswing of his career, but I mean, he's also got Dez Bryant on that team. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, Witten is still, coming up that seam route. Romo, he never forgets about Witten and Beasley. There's a lot of offensive firepower in Dallas. I know Jerry Jones likes to force feed people. Maybe he won't abuse him as bad as he abused someone like DeMarco Murray with Zeke Elliott being the 4th overall pick. But I don't see him going for 1,000. That's the one I feel most unsecure with. The Bills, some of it, the AFC East is just going to play out weird because of the Patriots. I think Tyrod Taylor will win that starting job and show everybody while he won it. They do need McCoy and Watkins to both stay healthy and out of trouble. And Dalton, I just think it's about time. John, what are your 3?
Well, I'm going to touch upon your 3 real fast. Zeke will run for more than 1,000 because Alfred Morris will get hurt and Darren McFadden will be a good split, but he's also, he's on his down slope.
McFadden and Morris.
Yeah, so Alfred Morris is going to get hurt because he's just that dude. He's Mr. Glass. And, Zeke will get at least 1,000. He's not going to go ham completely.
Like no 1,600 or anything.
But that offensive line, it's pretty hard to not get 1,000, I guess, for them. Even with Des Bryant and Williams. But the Bills will make the playoffs. I think that, but I think you're smoking something really bad if you think that Andy Dalton's ever going to get a playoff win.
Oh, you're just saying that. For what reason? Why not? They have a great
How many
team.
times have they gone to the playoffs?
Every year. They would have won last year, but he was injured. Come on.
Oh, so it's like saying Cleveland's going to have a winning season this year.
No, saying Cincinnati with Marvin Jones, Andy Dalton.
Marvin Lewis.
Yeah, Marvin Lewis. I pulled a Sean there.
No,
you know what I mean?
We're both slipping up right now because we're missing.
I mean,
our
they did
brother.
lose some pieces in free agency, but the Bengals, the only thing that goes against them, that whole AFC North, with the exception of the Browns, is awesome. I mean, the Ravens were trash last year, but the Ravens, Joe Flacco has more playoff wins since 2008 when he entered the league than any other quarterback.
Exactly. That's why I'd see the Ravens taking that division. So,
and I mean, Big Ben has 2 Super Bowls in his back pocket.
Because if we check
but
back,
I do no. The Bengals will win they might not win the division. No, the Bengals are going to win the damn division, and they're going to win a playoff game.
All right. So here I'm going to start off with my homer. Cam Newton's going to repeat MVP.
Come on.
And I'm justifying that statement just based off of him saying that he wasn't a complete player and he's working on becoming that complete player out on the field and off the field. And when somebody makes that type of a commitment coming off of a MVP year, that just goes to show that, he's taking this step towards maturity a lot more serious than what people would expect. The second thing is, and I'm staying true to it, Raiders are going to the Super Bowl versus the Panthers. That's going to be a given. So Panthers and Raiders fans alike, start getting your stuff ready because we're going to see each other in the bowl.
So you got 2 guarantees, and 2 of them are the Panthers.
Well, no.
Well,
Yes.
yeah.
No.
Yeah,
But
2 of them
yes.
are the Panthers being
But-
awesome. So
but-
John guarantees the Panthers will be awesome in 2016.
And not only that, my third is the Patriots will miss the playoffs.
Wow, so you're a hater and a homer. Sam, what do you think about John's list of I hate Brady and I love Cam Newton? What do you think of his list?
Well, first off, I think the Patriots are going to win that division because I don't see them going worse than 2-2 in those first 2 games.
Buffalo
like I said.
Absolutely.
And Tom Brady is going to come back angry and with a point to prove, and it's not going to be a good combination for the rest of the league. So I can't see them missing the playoffs.
But
I think the Raiders, they've been too hyped. When a team's so hyped, it generally doesn't work out quite that way, and they do have a lot of talent. And I'd love to see the Raiders make the Super Bowl, but I can't see it happening. I think that everyone's so on the Raiders at the moment that maybe they need a year to gel, and then maybe next year they can make that Super Bowl run.
I don't know. I think they just. Well,
I do like the Raiders a lot. I don't think they'll make it to the Super Bowl, but I know the Raiders will win. The Raiders might be playing in the AFC Championship game, or if not, they will at least squeak out a win in the wild card.
Well, I was going to say with Cam, I think he could definitely repeat as MVP because he's got better weapons around him this year, I think, than he did last year, arguably, in that offense. And I think he does show he does seem to have matured, and he does seem ready to go and repeat the MVP. But it's just so specific for one player in the league, and a league of so many talented players, to choose one to win the MVP that it's probably not going to happen. My sneaky pick that I think could go and win the MVP of the league this year would actually be Khalil Mack, because I think he's very underrated.
I hope so.
I
Hey,
could see him
J.J. Watt
getting
did
20
it.
plus sacks.
I
and
know
taking the
J.J.
MVP.
Watt did it, but J.J. Watt
Couple times,
is,
just like LT.
a monster.
I would love it if Mac won. I would love it.
I like to see it. Yeah.
Go ahead, Sam.
So mine were Odell Beckham Jr. leads the league in receiving yards and touchdowns. Todd Gurley leads the league
All right, calm down.
in rushing yards.
Okay.
And the Broncos don't make the playoffs.
Ooh, I like that last one you snuck in there. I gotta say,
I
Sam,
think that's common knowledge, though, that the
I
Broncos aren't going
agree.
to make it.
I agree with everything Sam just said. I mean, Odell Beckham being the leading receiver, Todd
right.
Gurley being
All
the
right,
leading
Homer.
running back.
All right, Homer.
No. There
right,
was not
Homer.
one giant on my list.
No, because
2 out of your
you
3.
jumped on the opportunity to be like,
Oh yeah. But I'm just saying. I mean, it's
you're
not.
like, yeah, I put that on my list too,
it's
but I didn't
it's
want
a
to say it.
little ridiculous that you think the Raiders, or not the Raiders, yes, the Raiders and Panthers will be in the Super Bowl, and Cam Newton will be the MVP.
No, I went bold as you know what with my picks.
You went hopeful as you know
what. Are you
with
talking
your
about? No, an up and coming Raiders team is I have them reaching the Super Bowl,
The
and
promised land.
the promised land again, and not only that, I have the Panthers going back to the Super Bowl. And and that's not a given these days. Just because you made it to the show last year doesn't mean you're gonna make it next year.
All right, but wait. We got to stick with what Sam's talking about.
And I said that the Patriots ain't going to the playoffs.
That's because you hate Tom Brady because he beat the Panthers in the Super Bowl.
But Tom Brady's gonna be looking like a toddler that got his sandcastle, completely demolished, and then he's gonna be having and he's gonna throw his deflated balls at people, and then it's gonna be really bad.
But Sam,
Have you seen an angry Tom Brady play?
yes,
He tortures teams for 50 points and 500 yards when he's angry.
like when they lost back-to-back games and then won the Super
But
Bowl
who's
right after
catching the
that.
ball for him?
Edelman, Gronk. We don't need to say anything more.
Oh, wow, because he's got one big dude. Edelman is garbage to me. I'm sorry.
But wait.
'Cause
Let's,
if it wasn't for that inside cut, he wouldn't have sugar.
we're not talking about Sam's 3 at all.
I'm sorry, but
Odell Beckham, I agree with Todd Gurley, and you snuck in the Denver Broncos not making it. I agree with
D-Hop.
you too. I mean, they don't have squat going on with the quarterback situation right now after Peyton Manning retired and backup Brock Osweiler, Super Bowl champion, is playing down in the AFC South with the Texans. So, I mean, they do still have that strong defense. That's I like that one. That's the most bold, and it's not crazy bold. I like that one. I agree with all 3. What do you think about Sam's 3, John?
well, apparently mine are like Tabasco and his are like habanero. Like, holy moly! Honestly, I think that the Broncos were given to be a failure this year because of operational choices and the way that they could have had Brock Osweiler. They could have had him. They could have had, somebody that knows their system. But now they have somebody brand new coming in, and
Sanchez.
yeah, Mr. Butt Fumble, all right, who couldn't get things done even in Philly, the scrub squads of scrub squads, and honestly. Yeah, they're not going to go anywhere. Your defense can keep the points off the board, but you still need to put points on the board, and your defense is, even with good defenses, it's not a given that they're going to put points on the board as a defense. So I'm just saying. So, the Broncos won't make it. I see that absolutely happening. As for Mr. Odell Beckham, I have to only slightly disagree because I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to go off this year.
Okay, well, I mean, at least you put out a name out there that's totally possible.
Yeah, or a possible sleeper.
But he's playing with Brock and Eli. I mean, I gotta trust Eli more over Brock. Look at
my sleeper, I guess, for receiver would have to either be Stephen Diggs or Laquan Treadwell. Somebody from that Minnesota squad is gonna burn people this year, and I'm starting to think lean a little more towards the rookie Laquan.
One thing that is going to perhaps hinder Odell a little bit in Sam's prediction is the fact all this talk going out about Sterling Shepard, the Giants' second-round pick. Now, people are saying like he's going to lead the rookie class. If that is true, Odell Beckham will still put up his enormous highlight catches and yardage. But if Sterling Shepard, I'm going to hope as a Giants fan, that he doesn't. I hope he does lead receivers, but that he doesn't need to. That the ball's not forced to him. That he's not Megatron on the Lions. You know, hopefully Sterling Shepard can step up and catch a little bit more stuff underneath and have a healthy Victor Cruz. My real quick, I think to not be a homer, I try and not talk about the Giants, but we got to talk about the Giants more. But we brought them up today.
See, I don't everybody's like a homer in some aspects, but honestly, this is the one thing that I'm also thinking about going into this season, and maybe we'll end on this question. I don't know. Josh Norman, the newly acquired Redskin, is going to have to go up against Mr. Odell twice now. Okay?
A year.
Now, is that going to give him a plus, a negative, or a split?
Now, this is very hard for me not to be biased on. I'm going to be honest with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying.
When that game happened, I was barking at my TV screen. I was hoping Odell Beckham would spear Josh Norman. I don't care about all you people that think Odell Beckham was being a baby. Nah, I was loving them attacking each other. And I didn't like, honestly, when Odell Beckham came out and he didn't kind of back up. He was like, oh, you apologize for the way he acts, that PR crap. Nah, that stuff was vicious on both ends, but I do think Odell Beckham will win more than he'll lose. I can't go totally against Norman and say that, because Odell Beckham's only been in the league for 2 years.
It's 2 games though, bro. It's not just one.
Oh yeah, and Norman only really did it last year and a little bit the year before.
Correct.
They're both younger players. We don't know if they're consistent. Odell Beckham has had some, dare I say, injury concerns, but I think Odell Beckham will generally win the battle. What will be interesting is that it kind of looks like we got another Richard Sherman, Michael Crabtree thing going on. I was hoping that would have lasted longer, but Crabtree was off the Niners, and the Niners pretty much disbanded. But I really like this playing twice a year, rivals, top dollar wide receiver, top dollar corner. It makes things exciting.
Yeah. What about you, Sam? What are you thinking?
I think we lost Sam.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we lost Sam, but
I'll tell you what. You can see if you can get him, but I think it's pretty much time to wrap up the show anyway. So why don't we get ready to get on out of here?
Yeah, man. It's been real. Yeah, we got to go home. We gotta go.
Gotta go home. All right. Well, we lost Sam, but I had a lot of fun talking with Sam. I love it all the time when Sam's on there. Our good old mate. He'd be hitting me up on Facebook, and he's always typing M8, and I'm like, what the hell does M8 mean? And I'm like, oh, it's mate. It's mate. Okay. All right.
You should respond with H8.
Hate.
Hey.
All right, guys. But I had a lot of fun today. Nice laid back, easy, fun show. Liked the 4-Minute Hut. Remember, guys, if you guys want to start your own podcast, go to podbean.com/r/bedlam to get a free month of web hosting. Podbean.com/r/bedlam. Remember, head over to voiceofbedlam.com. Check out all the awesome articles. But we're going to get out of here for today. For Sam in the UK, Devil John on the boards, I'm Andrew Bedlam, and we're getting the hell out of here.